Welcome back, Wolfpack. Brolis here, and this is how to use Genesect. And before we can talk about Genesect, I want to talk about it being the last Pokemon I'm reviewing for the How to Use series. Like, this is absolutely crazy to think about that I've reviewed every fully evolved Pokemon except Luvdisc, and we're at this point now that's it. I've already done 6th generation. That was like a separate mini-series, Kalos to Hoenn, but it still counted as like a How to Use. It did all the intricacies of the Pokemon. So I reviewed all of them. So if you ever have a question like which Pokemon do I need to find, it's already there. It's in the playlist. And I'm probably going to do a separate video just talking about the entirety of the playlist. Also, this isn't the last How to Use exactly. I'm still going to do a couple more relooks. I don't think I relooked through. Did I finish Johto? Like, I have a little bit of Hoenn and Sinnoh, and I haven't relooked anything in the 5th generation. I don't think I screwed up anything in the 5th generation, but it's always good to go and check back through the comments. So let's go and talk about Genesect before you guys get too tired of this. It's going to be a rather above average Pokemon with some above averagely balanced stats. That we have 120 in both offenses, 95 in both defenses, and then 99 on the speed. 99 speed. That's killer in a bad way. Like, 99 base speed means that the tons and tons of Pokemon that have 100 base speed are going to be able to outspeed you, and that's a huge amount of Pokemon. Also puts you in a decent range to where other Pokemon can like outscarf you, and the 71 on hit points with 95 on defenses means we're going to be relatively durable, but still kind of frail, and like super effective hits are going to be very threatening to us. But when we look at the typing, Bug Steel, okay, never mind, we don't have to worry about super effective hits. It's 4 times weakness to fire, so no matter how tanky we were, that 4 times weakness would be a huge problem, but that's it. So Bug Steel, once again, one of the best typings in the game because you just have that 4 times weakness to fire. You also get good stab coverage like Steel and Bug. Bug isn't as strong, but Steel is very powerful now because of fairies. And look at all those resistances. Normal, Bug, Steel, Grass, Psychic, Ice, Dragon, and Fairy. This Pokemon is going to be pretty powerful, and the immunity to poison. So typing's good. The stats, like the 120 on the offenses is pretty powerful, but it's not like super duper ridiculous range, so it's just above average Pokemon. Hopping into Pokemon Showdown, we're going to see how to use Genesect, and we're going to break down its movesets. So this is a really weird thing to do because when you have an evenly split attack and special attack and roughly the same power moves, it makes it really tough to make a decision, and then download just kind of adds another layer to that. On switching, attack or special attack is raised 1 stage depending on the foe's weaker defense. So if they have a lesser special defense, you gain special attack. So you turn it into a dice roll, or unless you like can figure out when you're going to bring in Genesect, use it as a revenge Pokemon, you might be able to figure out when to use it, or if you use it as a switch in. Remember, we do have a ton of resistances, so we can switch in on the right Pokemon, but we need to make sure it goes with our moveset. If we're running physical, we need to hope that we're going up against like a special defense tank, and if we're running special, then we need to go up against a more defensive Pokemon. Other than that, if we just kind of lead with Genesect or throw it out there without really thinking about it, we might whiff our download, and that could be pretty bad. So you need to be very, very conscious of the download, and you also need to be aware of all the Pokemon stats. I wonder how you'd be able to do that. Right, my How to Use series. So that could be a good reference, or if you're just trying to think about it, you know, which Pokemon tend to have either balanced defenses or which ones are going to have better defenses. After that, it can even be a dice roll. Like, what if they have 5 IVs and they decide to not have max defense or something? Or even 4 IV Pokemon, they don't have max defense even though it's the same amount of defenses. That could throw off your whole download thing. Who knows? It's a weird thing. So when we're going to look at it, we get Techno Blast. This is an actually really amazing move right here. 120 base power, 100% accuracy, but it can never have stab. So it's like having a stab scald level of damage, like a stab 80 base power move, instead of having your 90 from a flamethrower or something. So you are getting like auto stab on a certain move kind of idea, but it won't get stab, but you're increasing your coverage. And then if we're looking for stab, we get Flash Cannon and Bug Buzz. So the Flash Cannon with stab as a neutral hit will be the same as a Techno Blast if you're thinking about it like that, which is why Genesect is going to be such a coverage Pokemon. Also, since we have the 120s, that means we might want to throw in like a Life Orb or something. Then anything we outspeed, we're going to be able to do serious amounts of damage to. If we get that download boost with it, we might actually be good to go from there, and then we can just kind of run whatever coverage. Now, the interesting thing is that Techno Blast can either be water, electric, fire, or ice, and we actually cover a lot of those anyways, like we get Ice Beam. So if we're running the Ice Beam, then we might want to have a Burn Drive. If we're running Flamethrower, we might want to have like the Ice Drive or something like that. The cool thing is, since Genesect is a mythical legendary Pokemon, it's going to be used in legendary only situations, but we don't have to worry about getting hidden power ice or fire because we already get flamethrower and ice beam. So at least it makes it easier in that regard for obtaining a Genesect. But for a legendary Pokemon, that 99 base speed can be kind of difficult, and if you're going against a lot of Pokemon, you know, they like to have hidden power fire, they like to carry weaknesses, they might be able to two-shot you if you can't two-shot them. that's a big problem. So if we're wanting to outspeed, then we're going to want to go with a Choice Scarf. Now, Choice Scarf is going to speed us up a bit, but even then, like, we're going to be looking to try to get as much damage as possible. We can run the Modest Nature with this, so we're going to outspeed pretty well. We're going to have decent amounts of damage. It's mostly going to be on that download. Like, if we get the download boost, that's like a free choice specs. So it's really up to if you can play that properly and then get the right coverage at the right time. Physically, kind of the same idea, except you don't get to make use of your Techno Blast. So we have Iron Head Stab, we have X-Scissor Stab, and then we even get an Explosion. This is actually kind of messed up. Genesect is a technologically advanced Pokemon. It's been modified, and it has a self-destruct button. Literally. It actually also gets self-destruct, but Explosion is better. Then we get access to Aerial Ace, Blaze Kick. So physical moves, we have some. Like the Blaze Kick is pretty nice for that fire. We also get the Gunk Shot. That could work out pretty well. Shadow Claw. So we get a little bit of coverage that can work it out. Fell Stinger. If you find yourself in a Fell Stinger opportunity, it's always a high gamble move. They can still do some pretty cool things. And again, you might want Life Orb on this with a Timid Nature, or you go with an Adamant Nature on a Choice Scarf. If you're running Choice Scarf, you might want to bring the U-Turn. So X is your U-Turn, you're doubling down on your coverage. If you find something else, that's when you work in the Blaze Kick. So those are kind of the options that we're looking at with the Genesect in this regard. You also do get access to Iron Defense, but I don't see this Pokemon really wanting to be used as a tank. You have good amounts of offensive pressure. As long as you're outspeeding, everything's going to be going fine. So that's going to be it. And then I was looking into the other things. We have Genesect's forms. So when you give it the Douse Drive, it becomes Genesect Douse. And then that's going to turn Techno Blast into a Water type move. I think the Douse Drive is going to be one of your better bets because you don't get access to Surf, you don't get access to Scald, you don't get access to any of that. So having the Water works out pretty well. And then you can carry the Ice Beam and whatever else you want. So with this, Bug Buzz is going to be pretty high amounts of damage. And if you want Fairy Killing, then you can go with the Flash Cannon. But here's the thing, you're going to be resisting Fairy-type Pokemon pretty well anyways. If you are using Genesect as a way of dealing with Fairies on a main way, then put it on the Flash Cannon. If not, that's where you can go like Ice Beam, Flamethrower. And now look at the amount of coverage right here. Water, Ice, Bug, and Fire. That's going to be pretty awesome, and we can put in whatever else we need, you know, if you don't have any grass coverage. It has a super deep move pool, and that's why we're going to go over to Bulbapedia really quick, get Zap Cannon, so we even have like Thunderbolt, Thunder. That's the thing, like we can use an Electric Drive, but what's the point if we want a Thunderbolt? So we can make our coverage pretty much wherever we want to be. Like, look at this rainbow of colors right here. We also have Magic Coat, Last Resort. I don't think that'd be too powerful on a physical stat, but it's an option there. We get Giga Drain. If you don't want to use Energy Ball, you can use Giga Drain, but that's for sustain. Like, if this Pokemon had Calm Mind, that'd be ridiculous. We could go, like, Giga Drain, Calm Mind, Iron Defense, and then, like, whatever Techno Blast we wanted. We could do something like that. We also get Flame Charge. So let's dial it back right in here for this one. You know, if we want the Flame Charge, that's an option. It does give us the fire coverage, and then we can just kind of run that with the X-Scissor. So we're getting boosted damage right here. If we download into Life Orb, we survive that turn on the Flame Charge, yeah, we're going to be able to get a sweep right there, because now we're outspeeding a lot of our opponents, and if we're running Flame Charge, then we can go with the Adamant Nature, and everything is going to be pretty awesome. So that's going to be Genesect. A lot of really wild coverage. It's pretty much filler. That whatever coverage gap you need to fill on your team, you can use that on Genesect. It's not going to be incredibly fast as a sweeper, but it's a very reliable Pokemon, and it can be hard to one-shot, and maybe even two-hit KO. So if you guys enjoyed the video, that's how you use Genesect. Oh, it also gets a Rock Polish, so if you want to speed boost it, that's an option as well with that, instead of going for the Flame Charge. You can make it faster. So actually, if we take Rock Polish into consideration, then that means we won't even need to invest speed. We can go like, whoops. Sure, let's just work offline. Alright, we can max out hit points, max out the attack. This is actually going to be really good from a tanky standpoint. Since our hit points are lower than our defenses, this is going to give us a lot of effective tankiness, and then we can run the Rock Polish. So I actually haven't ever really seen this set, but I think it can work out. In doubles, as you might have seen, you get the Electro Web. So if you want speed control in doubles, you can use Electro Web. It's electric coverage. That would more be for the special thing. As you can see, Genesect has a lot of pieces. It's only usable with mythical legendaries. Techno Blast is an absurd move because you just have a raw 120 base power move. So it's like having triple stab and just all sorts of crazy coverage, and that can make it very powerful. So if you're using Scarf, try to look for super effective hits. If not, try to get the speed and look for as much damage as possible. And that's going to be Genesect. So if you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you all have a nice day, thank you for watching.